Hello, my name is Megan Kaun, and I'm a Zhineng Qigong healer and teacher. For more information about me and my classes, you can visit my website, intothehum.com, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Today, I'd like to talk about a phenomenon of healing called the Chi Purification. So, when you begin practicing energy work, consciousness work, things start to shift. And if you are in my 12-week free Awakening Consciousness class that's available on YouTube, I'll put a link to it in the notes. You may have already began to experience some chi purifications or chi reactions. And the way to think about this is you're moving things around. You're moving things around in your physical body, in your energetic body, and in your information body. And where there were blockages and stuff that was suppressed, stuff you sort of put a pin in and said, I'll deal with that later, that stuff is now coming forward. And this is an important part of the healing process. And so if you're doing these practices and you feel great and then you start not feeling so great, just know that this may be part of the process. It's important to view chi purifications as not good or bad. They're no problem. We work through them, we pay attention to them, but we don't worry so much about them. We don't stop practicing when they come. In fact, practicing more will help them flow through and resolve naturally on their own. Common chi purification reactions that I've experienced perfectly, personally, involve headaches, diarrhea, weird aches. It can also look like symptoms from conditions, health conditions getting worse for a bit. A common chi reaction for people moving through nervous system problems is shaking. So, the shaking gets worse, and you think, what am I doing? Why am I making things worse? But the shaking is actually helping to move chi around. It's awakening, it's opening things up. It's like when we wake up in the morning and our bodies go from being stagnant and stable, we kind of naturally want to shake and move around and move things to get them flowing again. And that's really the way of looking at a chi purification is you're getting things flowing again. I like to see it in a visual way, like there's a dam. So there's places in your body where things were blocked. And they were blocked for all sorts of reasons, doesn't really matter why. And when a dam blocks a river, for example, the river used to flow freely. So all the stuff, all the toxins, sediment, and whatnot would flow freely through the system and out. But when there's a blockage, now the water gets stuck, and maybe a small amount of water is still going through, but all the sediment, toxins, whatnots are kind of getting stuck now behind the dam in this reservoir that's forming. And so over years, the sediment builds, sediment builds, sediment builds. Now, in our Qigong practice, we are slowly removing these dams, and these dams are really a hindrance to our full health and vitality. So it's a good thing to remove them slowly, and that's the practice that we do, enables a slow removal of the dam. So it's not this quick whipsaw thing where all of a sudden all these toxins and difficult emotions are flying out. We do it slowly. And so as over time, the water and sediment can start flowing out. And something that can also happen in chi purifications are flowing of emotions. So oftentimes there's emotions that we block, that we can't handle at a certain time. Maybe that certain time was when we were younger and we didn't have the skills or tools or people around to help us flow those emotions. So often with chi purifications, old emotions can start surfacing. Sometimes they surface with a story, and sometimes they don't. And it actually doesn't matter. We ignore the story anyway. It's not important. But if we start having big emotions flowing through, anger, sadness, things that we don't, the emotions that we don't feel comfortable having, How la, that is part of the Chi purification process. In the old days, when Dr. Pong, the Grand Master of Zhineng Qigong, was around and teaching, and he had his center, whenever someone had a chi purification, it was seen as a celebration. It was a congratulations moment. And there was even a tradition that the person having the chi purification would take out a group of people to lunch. So it was seen as a good thing. It meant that things were flowing. It meant that changes were happening. It meant that they were on a path towards a new life. So it was really not, I mean, yes, they can be uncomfortable, but it was not seen as something that was a bad thing. It was seen as part of life. And again, they would continue practicing, doing what they needed to do to get through the chi purification. Always important to drink more water and nourish your body, of course, when it's going through something like that. And another important thing to do if you're having a chi purification can be to talk to another Qigong friend or get help from your Qigong teacher. I do a lot of consultations with students that are going through Qi purifications that feel overwhelming. And it can be really helpful to have somebody ground the space and sit with you in it in a place of outside of fear. That can be really helpful. Sometimes processing the Qi purifications with somebody who's not familiar with the framework and that might have a lot of fear around your situation can be detrimental. So just careful about that. Be mindful of whether the person that you're processing your situation with can handle it and help you flow it. And if they can't, that's nothing wrong with them. It just might mean that you need to pick a different person. In my family, we follow the chi purification concept in a pretty liberal way, and this is not exactly what I was taught. However, the framework has really, really helped my family put a different lens on situations where a family member might be having a chi purification, especially an emotional chi purification. So the way that we use the term and framework often involves if somebody is just gets really angry, right? Say my husband gets really, really angry about something, rather than saying, "Oh, is really angry and he's doing a bad thing and anger is bad and why is he so? We got to fix this." We treat it lightly. A laughter practice can be very useful in chi purifications, not laughing at the person, but just keeping the situation light because it is not serious. It is okay. And rather than saying, again, dad is being bad and angry, we could say, oh, he's having a chi purification. Allah, right? All is well and getting better. He's having a chi purification. When we're activated, that's when we really have a chance for transformation and changing old patterns, seeing old patterns, right? These chi purifications bring up and bring it to our consciousness, these unconscious old patterns. Then when we can see them, that's when we can start to be conscious of them and start to change them consciously and reinvent our whole life. So I hope that this was helpful to you if you've been experiencing something like this, and just to be aware of chi purifications if you have not experienced them yet, but you are diving deeper into Qigong energy practices is something that might come up. So thanks again for listening to me today. Again, if you want to check out my 12-week free Intro to Consciousness Awakening class, that is on YouTube. And I hope to see you there. Thank you.